Hello everyone, this is Joseph and you're watching Credit Commit, where we're committed to helping you build credit. Today I am going to go over the fastest way to help you build credit. You should see results within 30 to 90 days. So that's going to be 1 to 3 months. You're going to see results. If you like videos like this, go ahead and subscribe below and hit that bell for notifications so that way you're notified anytime I'm posting new videos that gives you tips and tricks on how to boost your credit score. And stay tuned to the end of this video. I'm actually going to give you the download link at the end of the video. So go ahead and stay tuned. Watch this whole video and I'm going to show you how you can build your credit fast. 2 to 3 months you should be able to have some good credit. Results may vary. Again, stay tuned for the entire video. You get that link at the end. I'm going to jump right into the computer. So that way I'm going over this guide with you step by step. And I'm going to show you the fastest way so that way you can actually get your credit rebuilt. Let's get it. Alright everyone, I got it pulled up. So this is going to be the first thing you see when you're looking at this blueprint action plan. Once you download it, this is the cover by Credit Commit. And it's an actionable plan so that way you're able to boost your credit score. It's something I put together so that way you know what you're doing while you're rebuilding your credit. Follow these steps in this order and that way it's going to help you boost your credit the fastest. And I'm going to explain why as I'm going through this, alright? Alright, so once you take a look at this, it's asking you in step 1 what it is you have. It's asking you if you have a loan. If you say yes, you have a loan only, then that means you have like a car note, you have a personal loan out, you have some type of installment loan out. The reason why you want an installment loan is because it shows on-time payment history, and it's also part of the credit mix that you have some type of loan open or you have some type of credit card, because you do want a secured credit card, you want an open loan, and you want some type of open-ended card. You want a good, nice credit mix where it's not just all credit cards, it's not just all loans, it's the credit mix. That's going to play a factor within your FICO score. So in step 1, it's that saying, yes, I got a loan only. Okay, if you have a loan only, go ahead and get a secured credit card. If you have a credit card only, go ahead and get a secured loan, something like self-lender. I do have a link to self-lender. It's going to be right up here. I do a review on it, and I also have a link to go sign up to self-lender. If you need a secured credit card, you could try Opensky. I got a review on that as well. Link's going to be right above for Opensky. I also have a link in the description so you can sign up for Opensky. And it says, yes, I have a loan and credit card. If you do already have both of them, then let's go ahead and skip it to the next step because you're already on the good path. Once you have these on-time payment history, you have a secured loan, or you have a car note and you have a secured credit card, or you actually have a credit card that you're doing on-time payment histories. So within your first 30 days of rebuilding your credit, you want to go ahead and sign up for a secured loan and a secured credit card if you don't have one. If you only have one or the other, sign up for the other one. Links are going to be in the description so that way you can sign up. You want to go to step 2 now. You want to go ahead and pull your credit reports. This is all month 1. You want to pull your credit reports and you want to find any inaccurate information. Inaccurate information means old addresses. There should only be one address listed. If you have like 9 to 12 addresses listed, you want to go ahead and we're going to dispute all those old addresses and ask them to remove those addresses. Once they remove those addresses, you should only have one address left on there. The same thing with name. If they have like your full name, like your first name, your middle initial, then your last name, then they got your first name, your full middle name, and then your last name. They got these different variations. We're disputing that as well. You only want your name to show one time. And usually that's how it's going to look on your ID. However it looks on your ID, the name how you want it to be displayed. You don't want them to confuse you with anybody else. So you want one name, one address. That's it. And you want to do this for your employees as well. If you have multiple employers, you want to go ahead and make sure you only have one employer, one phone number, one name, one address. So you want to dispute all of this. This is all within the first month. Your first 30 days, you're sending out a letter to all 3 credit bureaus. Once you pull your report, you're disputing all that negative information, and you're also signing up for a secured credit card and a secured loan. First 30 days, that's what you're going to do first. Once you take care of that, that's step 2, disputing any inaccurate information. Now we're going to step 3. What we're disputing on step 3 is now we're going to dispute any negative or late items. So now we're actually getting to the process of going to the dispute process. Now what we're disputing here is if you have anything in collections. If you have collections account, we're going to do an unverified, or we're going to find another reason. Most of the time you could do unverified. You just don't want to have 15 unverified items because they might look at it like, oh, this is probably just some template that you put unverified, unverified, unverified. Use different reasons for each of those items. That's what you really want to do. And if you have late payments, you want to try to send a goodwill letter. Again, this is month 2. So this is your 30 to 60 days right here. Now this is month 2 is because within the first month, they got 30 days to respond to all that inaccurate info. So most likely they're going to drop all that inaccurate info. And sometimes when you change that information, if you have collections that are tied to a certain name that you disputed, that you took off, and then the address that you took off, those collections usually will just fall off because they don't have your correct name and they don't have your correct address. So sometimes a collection will fall off within that first 30 days without you even having to dispute it. So that's the reason why you want to go through that process first. Because if you have an old collections or an old address, it could fall off. But now that you're disputing these items, you want to send goodwill letters if you have any late and see if they're willing to make the late right. You want to send that to the actual lender or the collection agency. But most likely you're not going to be paying a collection agency. You shouldn't be anyways. All right. And you're going to want to send a validation letter. So at this point you could do like a two-attack approach. Basically you're sending in, first you want to send a letter to the collectors. And when you send a letter to the collectors, you're basically asking them for validation. 3 days later, you want to send it into the credit bureaus. The reason you want to do it 3 days later is because that means the collection agency would have already had your mail. And if they already have your mail, then there's no way for them to actually validate. They have to stop everything they're doing to investigate. And while they're investigating, they cannot verify. So basically when the credit bureaus come knocking and asking, hey, can you verify this account? They technically can't verify that account. So the next letter to the credit bureau the following month, you can ask them their method of validation because the collector was doing an investigation and they were unable to validate. So that means how did these collectors end up validating? We'll get more deeper into that. I'm gonna make another video where I'm gonna go more in detail about them validating things like that and you disputing the validation. I'm just not going into that within too much detail in this video. This is more of an overview. That way you can fix your credit within the first 30 to 90 days. Once you do it in this order, you're gonna see results on your credit reports. So again, month 2 is where now you're disputing the collections. You're going to go ahead and send a letter into the credit bureaus because at that point they shouldn't be able to validate because they have to go to the actual lender. I know they like to use these systems like the Oscar system, which is not a way for them to validate, but they do like using the Oscar system. So 3rd month is when you actually want to ask them their method of validation if it comes back validated, or they might just start knocking off items. Depending on what happens, if they knock off the items, leave it alone. The items they don't knock off, you want to ask for the method of validation. I don't want to go too much into detail on each of these topics. I'm just running through these topics, giving you an overview. Next thing you want to do is your credit utilization. You want to go ahead and keep that utilization really, really, really low. You want to keep it under 9%, and that's perfect credit utilization. You could keep it under 30. That'll be good credit utilization. Under 9% is going to be pretty great utilization. You want to keep that utilization down. You can use something like My Jewelers to help keep it down because My Jewelers gives you $5,000 revolving credit. So if you got My Jewelers with that $5,000 revolving credit and you have a secured credit card, a $300 credit card, if you put both of those together, you max out your $300 secured credit card, that $5,000 revolving credit is going to save you. I got a video on My Jewelers Club as well. A link will be in the description describing My Jewelers, and I'm going to have a link so you can actually sign up for My Jewelers if you want to use it. That's a safety net for your credit utilization, something to think about. Again, I'm running through these. If you are going to sign up for My Jewelers, you want to do that within the first month. So you would do My Jewelers, you would do a secure credit card, and then you would also go ahead and do some type of secure loan if you don't have any. You do all those in month 1, so that way there's going to be positive things reporting. They are going to report at different times, but they're going to be positive things reporting, and that's going to keep your utilization low once you have that My Jewelers on there as well. Watch the video to the My Jewelers Club, and I explain a little bit more into detail. But that's pretty much the gist of it. The last thing you want to do is one of the hardest things to do, and that's actually disputing inquiries. My next video is actually going to be going over how to dispute inquiries. It's going to be similar to how you're going to dispute collections. You want to send a letter to the people that actually ran your credit in the first place and get a response from them. And whatever they respond, if they don't have the proof that you signed this paper giving them permission to run your credit. Basically, if they can't show you proof, whatever they send you, you could go ahead and send that to the credit bureaus and say, look, they don't have any proof that they have permission to run my credit. Again, this is going to be done after you go through the collections. You don't want to send a letter about inquiries and a letter about collections because that's going to give them more time. You want to dispute one thing at a time, and I say you dispute collections first. Those are easier to get off than the inquiries because the inquiries, you got to go through the hassle of sending out something to the actual lenders themselves. This goes into payment history and length of credit. The length of credit is going to be 15%, and your payment history is going to be 35%. That's going to be something you want to look out for as well. And the reason why you want to sign up for everything in month 1, because by the 3rd month, everything would be at least 3 months old. Is start building age. You want everything at least 5 years, 2 to 5 years old or older in order for it to actually have a bigger impact. But you also don't want to keep signing up for things as months go by. So if month 1, if you sign up for your secured credit card, and in month 3 you sign up for something else, it's just going to keep making your age of credit history newer and newer and newer. It's going to lower your credit score. So you want to sign up for everything as soon as possible and then let it age. That's basically what you got to let it do. You just got to start letting it age. That way, you know, it can be open. I do have more little common tricks on here about keeping old credit cards, makes on-time payments, add few new accounts, as few as possible. I also have a chart on here as well. It's the 5 FICO scoring factors, which is the amount owed, new credit, length of credit history, credit mix, and payment history. So this is pretty much the FICO score. This is how it's going to be calculated. So that's why you want that credit mix. You want your length of credit history. You want those on-time payments, because that's 35%. So those on-time payment histories and the length of credit history, putting those two together, that's about 50% of your credit right there. We do got more letters, like dispute letters, but you really don't want to use templates. So we do have another system where you can download it and you have all these different reasonings that you can use when you're also disputing. There is gonna be a link for those as well in the description if you do want those. So if you do want this guide, go ahead and there's a link in the description. You could go ahead and download this guide and go ahead and look over it. This is just a general overview. Go ahead and look over this guide and look at what you need to add to your credit history. And the things you do need to add, go ahead and add them and start seeing your credit increase. Go through it step by step. So go through step 1 first and add whatever step 1 tells you to add. Go to step 2 and do that as well. Do it in this order, and then you're going to get the results the fastest way. So within your first 90 days, you should be seeing results, because all the inaccurate info would have came off in month 1. You would start already building your credit in month 1 by adding any credit card, any loan, or my jeweler's club to keep your utilization low. In month 1, you're adding all these things to it, and you're disputing all your inaccurate info. So in month 1, you should already see an increase in your credit score within the first 30 to 45 days, because it does take a little time for self-lender to post. It takes a little bit of time for the credit card to post, the secured credit card, if you go through Opensky. And it does take a little bit of time for anything that you sign up for to post. It's going to take about 45 days the first time around. Then after that, it should be every 30 days. So that's why I'm saying within the first 90 days, you should start seeing results, because once that inaccurate info drops off, you're starting to dispute the collections. Dispute collections, send those goodwill letters out, see if you can get those lates off. Go ahead and knock those collections off, and then you want to go ahead and make sure that utilization stays low, and then you start knocking off those inquiries. You could start this whole process. You could go through this process within your first 90 days and start seeing results on your credit report. So if this is helpful, go ahead and leave a comment below. If you have any questions, if you're confused about anything, if you're confused about this guide, go ahead and leave a comment below. I'm going to do my best to get to every comment and answer all the questions. Again, to download this guide, there is going to be a link in the description. And let me know if you have any questions, anything's confusing to you, you need help with anything. Go ahead and leave a comment below. We can help each other with this. Other than that, that's going to do it for this video. Again, this is the Blueprint Action Plan from Credit Commit. Go ahead and download it, link in the description, and I'm going to see you on the next one. And we do got another video to the right that's giving you more tips and tricks on how to build your credit. So we got this video to the right, and then go ahead and subscribe below. Go ahead and click on my face below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications as well. And then we're going to the right to watch the next video for giving you more tips and tricks on how to boost your credit score.